Welcome to the tavern. Let's make a drink. Today, we're getting weird, and we're making one of my favorite 18th century recipes. We're making a milk punch. Welcome to the tavern. Let's make a drink. Today, we're getting weird, and we're making one of my favorite 18th century beverages. We're making a milk punch. A milk punch isn't that much different from a regular punch. It's still going to include your citrus juice. It's still going to include your sugar, your booze, your water, a little bit of spices, but then you're topping it all off with 2 cups of milk. And that milk is doing exactly what you think it's going to do when it hits that booze. It's going to curdle. But you want that to happen, because when that curdles, it's going to create a nice silky smooth flavor, but it's also going to work as a preservative and a clarifying agent. Milk punches, they show up all throughout the 18th century. One of the earliest recipes comes from about 1711, but the one that we're following today is one from someone you probably heard of before, a little guy by the name of Benjamin Franklin. He has a recipe written down in one of his journals, and we're going to be taking that. Now, as you find with most 18th century recipes, the original is huge, so we've scaled it down for a bit. So what you're going to need for this, pretty simple. You're going to need 2 oranges, 1 lemon, a cup of sugar, 2 cups of hot water, half a cup of tea, cup and a half of booze, and you're going to need a little bit of spices. So we can't do this here, unfortunately. It is a little bit more complicated than usual, so we're going to head over to the kitchen and get things rolling.
Grab a big mixing bowl because you're going to need a lot of space for this. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to peel 1 lemon and 2 orange. Now, if you scale the recipe down, it should actually be 2 lemons and 1 orange, but I find it just a little bit tart that way, so I go with 2 oranges. So throw that in your bowl. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a little bit of sugar and put that in there. If you have it, use some turbinado sugar, some demerara. If you don't have that, use some golden sugar, and if you don't have that, just use whatever you have. But you're going to use a cup all the way through for this whole thing. But right here, you just need to put a little bit in there so that way you can muddle it. What you're going to do is smash these peels into that sugar to extract all those oils. You're going to smell all of that citrus as you're doing it. And you really just want to get a nice oily kind of finish infused with the sugar and the peels. It'll take a couple minutes to do that. Now that we're nice and muddled and we're kind of looking a little oily, all the sugar looks a little bit wet, you're going to add the rest of your cup of sugar. And then you're going to start adding more ingredients. So for your dry ingredients, you're going to add 3 cloves is when you have it scaled down, but 4 doesn't hurt. 5 would probably be okay. You're going to add 1 stick of cinnamon and a star anise. Then after that, you're going to add your liquid ingredients. Half a cup of tea. I'm using jasmine. You could use any type of tea, really. You could gunpowder is a good one. Oolong's another one. But anything really that you have going around. And 2 cups of hot water. And now we've got a nice fragrant tea of spices and citrus all in here. One more thing I forgot. You need to add the juice of the two oranges and the 1 lemon. Orange 1. Orange 2. And your lemon. All right, now we have a nice, fragrant, flavorful mixture of fruit juices and sugar. We're gonna mix all that sugar up in the hot water just a little bit, and then we're gonna leave this sitting here for about 15 minutes. We really wanna bring out all of those flavors of that tea, of the peel, of the juice, to really get a nice flavorful punch going. All right, that's been sitting here for 15 minutes. We got a nice tea going, so now we're gonna add a cup and a half of booze. I have half a cup of cognac and a cup of rum. You add that together, and now you've got a pretty decent punch, but we are gonna make it weird. Get yourself 2 cups of whole milk, and then pour it on in there. Make it weird, and watch the science happen. So you can immediately start seeing it to curdle there. It's immediately separating. Some people will tell you that you need to have the milk warmed up or that the punch itself needs to be hot. You don't need it. It's going to do its thing. Chemically, there's citrus and there's acid in the fruit juice, which is going to cause this to separate and curdle anyway, plus the alcohol is going to do it. So all you have to do is sit here and wait. So we got the milk in the punch. We're going to wait for it to completely separate. It's going to take about an hour. So sit here, make sure no one looks at it because it's kind of gross, but wait an hour and then come back. All right, it's been over an hour. Lost track of time on the alarm. And as you can see, this looks not great. It smells pretty wonderful, but as you can see, the curds have definitely separated from the whey in the milk, leaving everything. So it looks gross, but trust me, it tastes absolutely delicious. And what this is actually doing is preserving it because you now clarified it by the milk actually separating. So we're still going to use this, but the next thing we need is our really high-tech straining system. We are going to need another big bowl, and then inside of it, I have a mesh strainer. We have a doubled up paper towel in there. So you can take a look at this real quick. Simple mesh strainer, paper towel inside, and this is going to double strain it. However, this is actually going to be triple strain because you're going to take all of this all at once and you're going to pour it into the bowl. And as you're pouring it in here, all of those curds that have separated are actually going to form as a filter. They're all kind of going to sink to the bottom, and then they're going to filter all this as it passes through. This is going to take a little bit, just like everything else, but this is actually where the clarification happens. So when you pull this out, all the stuff underneath of the mesh strainer and the paper towel, real high tech, they're going to have that nice filtered punch underneath of it. So we're going to let this sit, and we'll come back to it when it's done. We're all the way filtered through. You can see we got all this sludge left over, and if you look into the actual pot here, you can see it's pretty clear, but I think I want to give it one more go just to give it a little bit more filter. So I'm going to put it back into the original bowl. It's empty. I'm going to put the punch filter system right up here, and then I'm going to pour it in one more time. And we're going to have the double filter from the mesh, from the paper towels, but also from all of those curds that have settled on the bottom. They are going to work as their own filter. So it went through fairly slowly the first time, but this is going to go through even slower. It's going to filter it out more, and we're going to come out with a really nice clear punch on the other side. Once it's filtered all the way through, you should have this nice clear punch looking like this. It smells fantastic. It doesn't look gross anymore. So the last thing you have left to do is to bottle it. You can just put this in an old liquor bottle, or if you have something like I do, you can put it in these nice case bottles. It's going to fill probably about 2 bottles. These are a little under 750 milliliters. So it should fill both of these with a little bit of leftover. Bottle number 2. Put the rest in there. Like I said, about 1.5 liters, depending on what you put in there. Oh, there you go. And we're done.
All right, so that's it. We're all done. We've got 2 bottles of fresh milk punch right here. They'll last for a long time. You'll probably finish them before they go bad. But they're really good. So what's it taste like? Well, it's silky, it's smooth. You really can't taste the booze at all. You want to serve this chilled if you can. Over a nice big ice cube is great. Oh, it smells fantastic. But you can definitely smell all those citrus flavors. You can smell the sugar. You can smell everything in here. It doesn't smell like sour milk or anything like that. It's a very nice flavor. When you serve it, you're going to want to grate a little bit of nutmeg over top of it as a garnish. Serve it chilled and enjoy. Oh, that's good stuff. See you next time.